Randolph M. Nesse, Good Reasons for Bad Feelings, Insights from the Frontier of Evolutionary Psychiatry. In Good Reasons for Bad Feelings, Insights from the Frontier of Evolutionary Psychiatry, Randolph M. Nesse delves into the mysteries of human evolution and its impact on our mental health. Nesse explores the evolutionary origins of physical and mental illnesses, citing natural selection as a major factor in our susceptibility to diseases and disorders. This book summary delves into the complexities of human nature and provides a fresh perspective on the connection between our evolutionary past and mental health. Discover the reasoning behind emotions like jealousy, anxiety, and depression and how they can benefit us. Moreover, understand the root causes of our troubled relationship with food and drugs, and how an evolutionary understanding can help in finding a solution to these problems.
Evolution's limitations and trade-offs. Over generations, natural selection has endowed humans with remarkable traits like opposable thumbs and sensitive vocal cords, which significantly contribute to our survival, craftsmanship, and communication. However, we haven't entirely escaped the grip of certain physical and mental diseases such as cancer and depression due to the ever-changing environment that introduces new challenges. Furthermore, natural selection is primarily focused on the traits that improve reproductive chances, not necessarily overall health or longevity. This process also brings along limits and trade-offs, ensuring that our species still has imperfections. Our evolutionary journey has led to the acquisition of numerous invaluable advantages. For instance, opposable thumbs enable us to create intricate handcrafted items, while our sensitive vocal cords facilitate expressing our deepest thoughts. These traits, combined with our highly evolved brains, have pushed the boundaries of what we can achieve as a species. Nevertheless, we are far from immune to various physical and mental diseases that continue to afflict us. While some ailments like infected wounds and polio have become less life-threatening due to medical advancements, others like cancer and chronic depression remain pervasive. Our ever-changing environment contributes to this predicament by continually introducing new hazards, such as the overabundance of sugar, salt, and unhealthy fats in processed foods. Once scarce, our bodies now struggle to manage the increased intake of these ingredients, leading to obesity, heart disease, and eating disorders such as anorexia and bulimia. Even in the face of these challenges, natural selection isn't necessarily poised to rescue us from these tribulations. The primary concern of natural selection is not our health or longevity, but rather, which traits enhance our chances of reproduction. This fundamental principle explains our intense drive to reproduce, even in the face of potential complications. Moreover, there are limitations and trade-offs ingrained within the natural selection process that ensure the persistence of imperfections in our species. For example, humans have evolved an impressive sense of sight, but we lack the incredible telescopic vision of an eagle. While we could theoretically develop superior eyesight, the process would take numerous generations and might even worsen our vision before improving it. Similar trade-offs arise when considering potential enhancements to our eyesight or brain power. Improved telescopic vision would likely result in the loss of peripheral and color vision, and developing bigger, more powerful brains would necessitate larger heads, increasing the risk of death during childbirth. Even though certain traits seem undesirable, like stress and anxiety, eliminating them has consequences too. These emotional responses have evolved to help us detect danger and stay alive, highlighting that there's always a trade-off when it comes to evolution. Embracing emotional evolution. While emotions like jealousy, anxiety, and sadness might be considered negative or unwanted, they have an evolutionary purpose, helping us identify and navigate complex situations linked to our well-being and ability to pass down our genes. Understanding the underlying causes of these emotions, rather than suppressing them, can provide insights and help us acknowledge the appropriateness and natural balance of these mixed feelings. Jealousy, despite being an unpleasant emotion, has a significant evolutionary purpose. When examining two heterosexual couples, one with a jealousy-free man who doesn't mind his girlfriend's casual affairs and another with a man who struggles with jealousy over any hint of infidelity, it's clear that these emotions have different outcomes for the continuation of their genes. While the lack of jealousy in couple A might make their relationship seemingly more harmonious, the risk of the girlfriend bearing another man's child becomes higher. On the other hand, the jealous man in couple B, though sometimes excessively possessive, is more likely to preserve his genetic line as a result of his behavior. Other emotions, like anxiety and sadness, serve purposes that aren't immediately apparent. Anxiety acts as a warning signal for potential risks to our well-being, while sadness indicates that we should avoid loss. However, these emotions don't offer much guidance on resolving the situations they help us recognize. If someone were involved with an ethically questionable organization, anxiety might arise, but no clear solution would be provided. Positive emotions, such as enthusiasm and joy, can help direct us toward opportunities and accomplishments that are worth pursuing in life. But it's crucial to remember that most situations have both good and bad aspects, thus making mixed emotions a natural part of our lives. Understanding the evolutionary background of these emotions can help medical professionals treat and address emotional imbalances in their patients more effectively. Instead of dismissing negative emotions as problems to be suppressed, a doctor with an evolutionary perspective will recognize the appropriateness of these emotions in certain situations. When patients experience emotional imbalances, it becomes essential for healthcare professionals to treat the root cause rather than merely attempt to alleviate the unwanted feelings. Acknowledging the significance and natural balance of mixed emotions can ultimately lead to a healthier emotional life. Anxiety's evolutionary advantage. Anxiety, in all its forms, seems to be an uncomfortable and common aspect of modern life. With 30% of people worldwide experiencing diagnosable anxiety, understanding the evolutionary advantages behind these feelings, often linked to survival instincts, can provide relief. Furthermore, medication can help condition ourselves to see our surroundings as safe, improving our overall outlook even after medications are withdrawn. Anxiety, that uneasy feeling that nags us during our daily routines or strikes unprovoked panic attacks, is a common struggle in today's world. Affecting around 30% of the global population, it is important to understand that anxiety is not all bad, it actually has roots in human survival. Our ancestors depended on this heightened emotional state to respond to danger, thus ensuring the trait's continuation through natural selection. While it may seem perplexing to experience anxiety without an obvious trigger, these responses act similarly to a fire alarm, alerting us to potential risks. Even false alarms hold merit, as they keep our defense mechanisms primed for a potential life-saving response. Random panic attacks might catch us off guard while relaxing, but they're an integral part of our internal coping systems. Rapid heartbeat, breathlessness, and the desperate urge to flee are ultimately reminders that our alarm system is functioning. This perspective may provide relief to those grappling with anxiety, as its foundation in evolution makes it easier to understand and address. A practical example of the benefits of anxiety can be illustrated in our prehistoric past. Imagine misjudging the time of day and finding yourself stranded outdoors after sunset. Feelings of panic would have made you sprint back to safety, possibly evading unseen danger like a lurking predator. Though the existence of such immediate threats is uncertain, the experience of anxiety heightens our vigilance, reminding us to be aware of potential dangers. Acknowledging the evolutionary basis of anxiety can be helpful, but the positive impact of medication should not be overlooked. Anti-anxiety medications can lead to a life free from panic attacks and, in turn, contribute to building a safe and stable environment. This positive outlook makes our daily experiences less threatening, even after discontinuing the medication. In summary, while anxiety is a widespread issue, it is crucial to remember that it has played a vital role in human evolution. By reframing our perception of anxiety and incorporating coping strategies like medication, we can better manage and address this challenging aspect of human existence. Decoding depression and moods. Depression, a leading cause of disability, is complicated to diagnose. Understanding the purpose of moods is crucial in recognizing when low mood crosses into depression. Moods are indicators that guide us in deciding our efforts in different situations, making decisions, and determining when to let go of unattainable goals. In today's complex world, deciphering moods can be confusing, but knowing when to adjust or abandon unproductive plans could prevent the descent into depression. Living with depression, either firsthand or witnessing it amongst loved ones, is an all too familiar struggle. A 2013 study published in The Lancet revealed that depression leads to more years lived with disability than any other disease. However, diagnosing depression remains a challenge, as well as understanding when a bad mood transitions into this debilitating condition. A great starting point in addressing these concerns is uncovering the rationale behind our moods. At any given moment, you could be experiencing a plethora of emotions, from disheartenment to enthusiasm. These constantly shifting moods serve a purpose, guiding us in determining the amount of effort to invest when encountering various situations. Picture yourself in the era of hunters and gatherers, tasked with picking berries. To effectively perform this job, you would have to contemplate the intensity of your efforts, the right time to move between locations, and the signals indicating task completion. Each of these questions can be answered with the assistance of your moods. Paying attention to mood changes helps you collect a substantial amount of berries, stop before overburdening yourself, and prevent wasted efforts on unachievable objectives. The complexities of today's world, spanning careers to relationships, make interpreting our moods increasingly difficult. For example, would leaving your dreary job be the right decision? Is pursuing a rare successful career as an author a wise choice? And should you stay in a turbulent marriage? Our ever-evolving plans and sometimes unmet expectations can lead to feelings of low mood. However, when we cannot muster the strength to relinquish or modify those plans, our mood deteriorates further, morphing into clinical depression. In conclusion, understanding the role of moods in our lives and interpreting their guidance is essential to distinguish between a temporarily bad mood and clinical depression. In navigating the intricacies of our modern lives, being aware of when to reconsider or release certain plans can effectively prevent the downward spiral into the darkness of depression. Unveiling depression's complex layers. The complexities of our modern world present countless opportunities for depression to take hold. Whether it's due to external conditions or emotional regulation issues, our moods can be affected, leading to various repercussions. By understanding the evolutionary purpose of our moods and the different factors contributing to their disorders, we can better address and treat depression effectively. Our contemporary lives are fraught with countless triggers for depression. From the frustration of workplace stagnation to feeling powerless as we watch loved ones suffer due to addiction, various circumstances can push us into a state of chronic unhappiness. Sometimes, however, the root of depression lies in an individual's inability to manage their moods effectively. Dysthymia is a condition characterized by a consistently low baseline mood, making even the simplest tasks feel impossible to complete. Conversely, hypomania creates a heightened mood that often leads sufferers to become consumed by work, with no sense of when to rest. Existing on either extreme of this emotional spectrum can lead to severe disorders, such as psychotic depression or mania, both of which are associated with hallucinations and delusions. Unpredictable in nature, these symptoms can emerge and retreat without warning, further compounding the individual's distress. The elusive origins of depression have prompted psychiatrists to occasionally treat the symptoms as diseases themselves, a practice the author terms viewing symptoms as diseases, VSAD. This approach may be helpful for some cases, such as bipolar disorder, which involves an inherited predisposition for cycling between mania and depression. However, for most individuals experiencing depression, this strategy will ultimately prove unfruitful, as the root cause remains unaddressed. A common inclination for patients is to attribute their depression to an inherent brain chemistry issue, thereby ignoring personal complications that may be exacerbating their mental state. Recognizing the evolutionary purpose of our mood regulation system provides a more constructive starting point for tackling depression. This system has long been an integral aspect of human mental functioning, but its efficacy can be undermined when it becomes trapped in the extremities of depressive or manic states. Addressing depression effectively requires examining three developmental factors: our life circumstances, our relationship to these conditions, and the functionality of our brains. Cognitive therapy plays an essential role in treating mood disorders, as it empowers patients to develop a fresh outlook and navigate their lives with newfound resilience. Decoding depression's causes. In attempting to understand depression, psychologists often use a nomothetic approach, which seeks generalized rules across a population. Despite its usefulness, this method may overlook the unique individual factors involved in each person's struggle. By acknowledging the importance of idiographic explanations, individualized reasons behind one's depression, and combining them with a scientific approach, we can better comprehend the triggers of depression. One practical method is evaluating influential factors, social, in people's lives, leading to a more personalized understanding of the complex mental health disorder. Unraveling the mystery of depression can be a challenge, especially when conventional methods, such as the nomothetic approach, fail to consider every individual's distinct story. This approach, used by psychologists to find general rules about human behavior, can shed light on correlations within large populations, but often doesn't take into account the diverse experiences and backgrounds that shape a person's mental state. To better understand an individual's depression, it is crucial to focus on their unique reasons, known as idiographic explanations. However, determining which specific factors contributed to a person's depression remains a challenge. Take, for example, the cases of Ms. X and Ms. Y. Both demonstrate different situations that contribute to their depression. Yet, these two profiles are, in truth, the same person. Identifying which specific personal experiences or explanations are the driving force behind her depression can be intricate and confusing. To overcome this obstacle, a combined idiographic and scientific approach can be used. A widely agreed upon notion is that every person's emotional state is influenced by a common set of factors, known as social resources, friends, social influence, and support networks. O. Occupation, one's work and contributions to society. C. Children and family members, the impact of relationships within a family. I. Income, financial resources and stability. A. Abilities, personal skills, health, and well-being. L. Love, intimate relationships and sexual intimacy within a meaningful partnership. By assigning a score to each social factor, we can take an individual's unique experiences into account and better understand the underlying causes of their depression. This approach not only acknowledges specific aspects of a person's life but also incorporates a broader scientific perspective, thus offering a more comprehensive understanding of this multifaceted mental health disorder. Unraveling altruism's origin. Humans possess an incredible ability to show love and care, often at the expense of their own well-being. This selfless behavior, or altruism, has long intrigued scientists. Two theories, kin selection and social selection, attempt to explain altruism's role in our evolution. According to kin selection, selfless acts aiding relatives with shared genetic codes increase the chances of passing on the altruistic trait. Social selection posits that traits like altruism, generosity, and loyalty enhance one's attractiveness as a mate and, over generations, contribute to a population with an abundance of unselfish individuals. Pain and suffering are universal experiences, but humans also possess a remarkable capacity to love and care for others. In fact, our inclination for selfless acts and concern for others, even at the expense of our own well-being, is often so strong, it has fascinated evolutionary scientists. The concept of kin selection, proposed by British biologist William Hamilton in 1964, offers one explanation for the prevalence of altruism. Kin selection revolves around the idea that humans share significant parts of their genetic codes with each other. In essence, we are inclined to aid relatives because they possess similar genetic traits to us. By prioritizing their well-being, we inherently help spread our shared genes, ensuring the continuation of altruistic traits in the general population. This theory helps explain behaviors like drone bees sacrificing their lives for the hive's protection. Another explanation for the presence of altruism in our species is social selection. This theory sheds light on our preferences in choosing long-term romantic partners. Mary Jane West Eberhard, a theoretical biologist, suggests that traits such as altruism, generosity, and loyalty improve reproductive success by attracting desirable mates. Consequently, selecting partners with these traits gradually leads to a population rich in unselfish individuals valuing loyalty and care. Both kin selection and social selection provide compelling perspectives on how altruism has not only survived but thrived in human evolution, leading to a species known for its capacity for love and care. The paradox of emotional connections. Our ability to form deep, caring relationships comes with a certain price, as we become vulnerable to low self-esteem, social anxiety, and grief. However, these emotions also serve important purposes, such as pushing us to please others and prompting us to prevent future tragedies. The pain we feel from these emotions can often lead to positive change and increased safety within our community. The power of forming emotional bonds often feels like a significant and beautiful aspect of human nature. Yet, it's crucial to remember that these connections also carry a burden. Our inherent desire to care for each other means we're highly affected by other people's opinions and perceptions. Many times, our drive to be seen as desirable partners or our need for acceptance results in us striving to please others. Low self-esteem can emerge when we feel like we're failing in that pursuit. But, interestingly, this feeling can create an increased sense of awareness and help us adjust our actions to align more with others' expectations. Despite our best intentions, pleasing people isn't always feasible. When we try to make one person happy, we might unintentionally displease someone else in the process. This delicate balancing act is particularly evident during significant life decisions, such as marriage or choosing a career. The pressure to satisfy everyone can lead to social anxiety, which affects a notable portion of the population. The flip side of caring deeply for others is the experience of grief, an extremely painful and debilitating emotion. The loss of a loved one can leave us struggling to function for years. However, this sentiment leads us to consider whether grief serves any beneficial purpose. In times of danger, the fear of losing a loved one sets off an adrenaline rush that drives us to do everything possible to protect and save them. But if a loss does occur, the grieving process forces us to reevaluate the situation repeatedly, imagining alternative actions that could have prevented the tragedy. In doing so, we become better prepared to handle similar situations in the future, ensuring the safety of our remaining loved ones. Moreover, our community shares in our grief, learning valuable lessons from our experiences in order to prevent others from facing the same pain. Grief's silver lining is embodied by advocacy groups like Mothers Against Drunk Driving, an organization formed to spare others the pain of losing a loved one due to drunk driving. In essence, our emotional connections come with a cost, but sometimes, the hardship and pain pave the way for a greater good. Satisfaction versus evolution in sex. Contrary to popular belief, most people face challenges in their sex lives. The main reason lies in the fact that natural selection prioritizes effective reproduction over sexual satisfaction. Societal ideals and media depictions of beauty further exacerbate feelings of perpetual dissatisfaction. Moreover, the differences in sexual responses between men and women, though beneficial for reproduction, negatively impact overall sexual gratification. Having a perfect sex life is a myth that many believe, yet an array of issues can plague one's sexual experiences. The lack of attraction or incapacity to attain an orgasm can make sex far from satisfying for many individuals. Although sex is crucial for the propagation of our species, natural selection has, unfortunately, placed efficient reproduction before sexual pleasure. Our innate need to procreate leads us to seek partners who are young, attractive, and healthy, increasing the odds of having strong, thriving offspring. Furthermore, individuals seek partners who are nurturing, loyal, and financially stable, as this increases the chances of raising larger families successfully. However, these expectations, whether consciously recognized or not, skew our perception and heighten our dissatisfaction. The media's portrayal of unrealistically beautiful models and celebrities fuels this perpetual discontent. Additionally, the very act of sex can be underwhelming, especially for women. A 1999 survey revealed that 25% of American women reported difficulty in reaching orgasm, in contrast to a mere 7% of American men. This discrepancy stems from the necessity of optimal conditions for pregnancy. Ejaculation must occur in the right position and promptly cease, to ensure that sperm reaches the egg. Consequently, men experience heightened sensitivity after ejaculation, making further intercourse almost impossible. On the other side of the spectrum, women's orgasms serve an evolutionary purpose as well. If women's orgasms led to stopping intercourse before male ejaculation, the chances of pregnancy would decrease significantly. Thus, natural selection resulted in differing sexual responses for men and women. Despite its efficiency in promoting reproduction, this biological design does little to enhance sexual satisfaction for both sexes. In conclusion, sexual dissatisfaction is widespread and influenced heavily by natural selection's focus on effective reproduction. Societal ideals and media exposure further contribute to our discontent. Biological differences in male and female sexual responses may have been advantageous for the continuation of our species, but unfortunately, leave much to be desired in terms of gratification. Tackling modern weight regulation. Changing our lifestyle habits, such as exercising more and quitting smoking, can be quite challenging. Our weight regulation mechanism, developed during our hunter-gatherer days, is not equipped to handle today's world filled with easily accessible food. This can lead to overeating and eating disorders. Additionally, there is no internal regulation system to control our consumption of drugs, making them a dangerous source of pleasure. Understanding the connection between psychiatry and evolutionary biology could be key to finding solutions for these modern issues. If you've ever attempted to quit a bad habit or start a good one, you know how difficult it can be to make changes that are beneficial to your health. In recent years, the market for weight loss products has grown tremendously due to our collective struggle to maintain a healthy weight. This difficulty can be attributed to a simple reason: our weight regulation mechanism is not designed to cope with the modern world. In the past, humans had to rely on what they could find in their environment, whereas now we have access to a wide range of foods from all over the world. These foods are often processed and packaged in a way that is difficult to resist, leading to overeating or eating disorders such as bulimia and anorexia. Regulating pleasure is not only a challenge when it comes to food, but also with drugs. The critical difference is that there is no internal mechanism to control our consumption of drugs. While pleasure is essential for learning and gaining experience, there must be a balance. Our body's natural reaction to overindulgence, such as feeling nauseous after eating too much candy, helps control our enjoyment of pleasurable experiences. However, no such system exists for drugs, as they were not present when our bodies were developing these internal regulation mechanisms. This lack of control makes drug consumption particularly dangerous, as it can lead to an insatiable desire and eventually self-destruction. Currently, there is no quick and easy solution for our complex relationship with food and drugs. However, studying the intersection between psychiatry and evolutionary biology could be a vital starting point in finding solutions to these modern problems. By understanding how our bodies and minds function in today's world, we can begin to address these challenges and work towards a healthier future.
To conclude, Good Reasons for Bad Feelings offers an insightful look into the complexities of human evolution and its effects on our mental health. Nesse reveals how natural selection contributes to our vulnerability to diseases and mental disorders, and the significance of seemingly negative emotions like jealousy, anxiety, and depression. By exploring the evolutionary basis of our emotions and behavior, we gain a better understanding of why we feel the way we do and how these feelings can help us, despite being hard to cope with. Ultimately, a deeper understanding of our evolutionary past could pave the way for more effective treatments and support our mental well-being. In today's modern world,